Well, hey there, guys. Recently Rachel had asked me about how to overlay certain images over other images, ones that have animation in a sense to make your stories pop a little bit more. So, for instance, we were talking about water, lake water, and putting it over an image, and so I'm going to show you how to do that. So, let's say that we're already caught up with the process. You've already gone to a place like YouTube if the promotions or graphics department doesn't have these sort of things pre-built for you. I go to YouTube every so often, and what I'll do is you type in royalty free or free green screen, and then you put in what you're looking for. So, for instance, I put in royalty free green screen lake water, and I found some royalty free stuff. It's important to have royalty free in there because that means that they're produced for free, free of use for anybody to use, and it doesn't matter. You do not want to rip stuff that is privately owned. So I downloaded it already, and I found some really good royalty free lake water. That just kind of has some animation to it and looks pretty nice. And so what I'm going to do now is, let's say you already downloaded an image and you're doing a story on Rocky Mountain National Park. So then I would take my image of Rocky Mountain National Park and I would pull it down onto my timeline like so. And I would make it out to be exactly how I want it to be in terms of lengthwise. And then I would notice, there's some areas on the side that have black. So I want to zoom in. Let's see. I want to zoom in so I can show some more lake water, but I also like those mountains in there, so I'm going to leave some space for them. And there we go. Maybe a little bit less. This is where I spend the most amount of time, is second guessing exactly how much space I'm going to give on images. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we can take our timeline, we can move back to where we want to do. And then you'll go up to your file that you had just downloaded, the green screen file, and I'm going to get rid of the audio because all I want is video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my in point, and then I'm going to select my out point, and then I'm going to select video only. If you pull down the audio with it, that's fine too, as long as there is no audio, but I would just do video because then it'll help well with the rendering process. I then put that layer on top of the current image, like so. You'll notice that right now it's only showing the green screen image. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into keying in my effects over here. You see keying, and then you're going to select keyer. You're going to drag your keyer onto the green screen layer that you just dragged in there, and then you're going to drop it. And you notice right now how it's already taken effect like that. Now, clearly, you don't want to leave it like this because it looks like there's a flood and the trees are drowning right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to then go over into your effects over here where you can move around stuff, and then we're going to go, we're going to make sure that we have this green screen with the lake file selected. We're going to go to transform, and we are going to then move it down to where the lake actually starts. So there we go. And let's say that I notice over here it looks good, but over here there's a little bit out of whack. So maybe what I'll do is I will rotate it just a little, smidge, to kind of fill that area if it does. If it doesn't, what we're going to do next will help out with that, so don't worry. So I have it at -0.2. And then what I'm going to do is I can leave it just as is, and you'll notice as it's playing right now, that looks pretty fine. I mean, if you were in a rush and you just wanted that to air like that, you could just have it air like that with no problem. Mind you, it is going a little joggy in this preview video. That's just because the program I'm running to record this is making it look slower. On my screen, it looks phenomenal. And so what we can do to make it look a little bit more realistic is we can then select it once again, and we go back over to our video effects as so. Right above transform, you see opacity. And since you overlaid it over some water, it's going to look like water in the background if you were to drop the opacity still. So I want to see what it's going to look like if I drop it down to, let's say, 50-ish. And so you'll notice that you can see sort of in the background over here, you see what looks like the reflection of the mountains, and that's from the image. But because we dropped the opacity down, we can now see that, but also still have some of those cool visual effects. If I hit play here, you'll see, obviously, the water's moving, but you still have the reflection over here in the water of the lakes, and that looks so cool. And what's nice is that you can also use your feathering tool to make it more prettier and stuff like that. And for instance, let's say if we wanted to take some text, and then we have some text. Let's say Rocky Mountain National Park is doing a story with us about them reopening. We wanted this image. We could then take in our, let's say drifting. Drifting is always a fun one to use. And so we would just drop in our text effects over there. My computer's going a little bit slow again just because of this program that I'm running to record this. And so now that I have my text effect down, I'm going to go back over and I'm going to select the text layer that I just dropped down on it. And let's see, I'm going to expand that, and then I'm going to type in Rocky Mountains National Park. And so sometimes if I'm making like an Anchorman wall VO, this is how I'll go about doing it. And that always looks pretty cool. And so then if I were to scroll from the beginning, you will see, boom, there we go. We have our effects, and we also have our water moving at the same time. Again, you're seeing it what looks like in a rendered vision just because of this program, but it looks really cool on my end. So that is how you will do overlays. And mind you, continue looking on YouTube for these free overlays because there are plenty of them. Just make sure you type in free or royalty free and then add in the word green screen, and you'll be good to go. So I hope that helps, guys.